For more than a decade, FTI has strived to become the leader in the aftermarket performance transmission and converter industry. We've joined forces with McLeod Driveline Components under the leadership of Top Fuel Funny Car pilot Paul Lee, and now have a larger distribution network, more resources, and more power. Come see us in the pits and ask how you can join the FTI family. It's not cheating, it is the competitive edge.
This is WFO Radio.
Well, this is it. The 68th Dodge Power Brokers U.S. Nationals is upon us. I'm Joe Castello. This is WFO Radio. And each week, multiple times a week, we check in with NHRA drag racers, winning racers, great stories, the voice of the NHRA, Alan Reinhart, throughout the entire season. And at the end of the year, people look back and they say, who won the championship and who won Indy? This race is the biggest drag race on the planet, 937 entrants. Going to be battling it out in Indianapolis, Indiana, Brownsburg, actually. And I am headed that way tomorrow. I know a lot of people are there in stacking in the pits, ready to go, ready to race, to try to change their lives and literally change their first name from whatever it is to U.S. Nationals winner. On the show today, we've got Alan Reinhart going to be joining us. He just finished the press conference from Tony Stewart Racing. He's still out there. Blake Alexander, who has got a shot to make the countdown. 1.5 points. Go a couple of rounds. He could compete for a championship. Blake is going to join us on this show. So fans of Blake, fans of the underdog, fans of Jim Head, you're going to want to share this one. And then Matt Hartford. Total Seals Matt Hartford going to join the show a little bit later on. He runner-up in this race in 2020. So close. We're going to talk about his chances to win the biggest, most significant drag race on the planet. The idea that it's the Indy 500 and the Daytona 500 and the Super Bowl and the World Series all rolled into one, that's what makes it easy for people to understand. You think of the biggest thing that they care the most about, and that's what this is. The biggest thing that people care the most about. And when you win it, it does change your life. You get a little money and you get a little glory, but in the drag racing world, you are always an Indy winner. I am super excited. If you're excited as well, this is the show to share. YouTube, Twitter, your social media. Let's get it out there and get everybody psyched up. And maybe we'll even check in with somebody at the track, somebody that's not scheduled, like maybe one of our WFO friends that are out there. Now, before we get to Reinhart, I already told you about FTI Performance Transmissions and Torque Converters. I was joking on the Ignition show last night. FTI versus the field in Super Comp. What would you take on that bet, right? And I'm taking FTI. I think it is going to be very interesting to see how it all works out. But whether you are a road warrior, street warrior with your shift kit, or you're looking to go high-level big money bracket racing, FTI has got transmissions and torque converters that can help you. Go to FTI Performance Transmission and Torque Converters to check them out, FTIperformance.com. Total Seal Piston Rings, the leader in ring seal technology. Got a new podcast episode, but really, if you're going to Indy and you're going to be there on Friday or Saturday, there is a new Total Seal Tech Talk. I know we've been doing these Total Seal Tech Talks, but there's a brand new presentation. Keith Jones going to be there. Lake Speed going to be there. Ed Keebler from Rottler going to be there to talk a little bit about ring seal and about surfaces inside the cylinder, all of these things in a new presentation. If you're a Lucas Oil Series racer, sportsman racer, engine builder, you're going to want to see it. 10 a.m. on Saturday, 1 p.m. on Friday. TotalSeal.com for more information. Phillips Connect, Justin Ashley, got a real good shot. He's in the Pep Boys All-Star Call-Out. He's also in the Big Go. He's got to qualify, of course. 24 cars trying to qualify. But Smart Trailer Technology is a way to win for everybody out there. If you're in the transportation industry, Smart Trailer Technology, what does it mean? Connected sensors that tell you all the things that you used to wonder about, like air pressure and wheel hub temperature and all of those safety features that you need to know. Phillips-Connect.com, and go check out Justin on the pit area. So many great things. And then Bernie Speed Shop had Josh Hart on the show the other day. He announced a new partner and talked to us about plans for the future. But to me, it's not about the future. It's about how he got here, going door to door, asking people to detail their cars. And now he has built that drive and determination into a 100,000 square foot business called Bernie Speed Shop, where they do all of that. and more. And they have got an inventory of classic cars for sale. So the next time you want to make a purchase, you want to get a car, you want to do something, sell something on consignment, go to Bernie's. Go to their website, bernies.com, and follow them on social media. Samtech.edu. I had a conversation with Brian Massengill yesterday. He says, since the pandemic, enrollment is picking back up. People are going back to work. People are thinking about their futures. They realize that racing is going to be around, that people are going to need machinists for aerospace, to program CNC machines, to tune EFI. They have courses in all of that at Samtech. They're approved to train veterans under the GI Bill. Samtech.edu. Tell Brian that WFO Joe sent you. Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School. After this weekend, you're all going to want to become drag racers or at least have the experience. And you're probably wondering, how do I do that? The answer is frankhawley.com. One of the 50 greatest drivers, a world champion driver, legendary Chi-Town hustler, also drove for Daryl Gwynn. My goodness. frankhawley.com, the dragster adventure. You should definitely do it and drive it. And then there's Marvin Rodak, 817-924-6821. Hot sauces and spice rubs and coffee and barbecue and grills and tools and tips and information. This guy is amazing. It's so much better than what you're drinking. And everybody's got a gourmet coffee, but this is small batch. You got to get in on the Rodaks. 817-924-6821. And finally, Torque Calibration Services of Australia. Go to torquecalibrationservices.com.au. And they are the largest independent torque calibration company in the Australia Pacific region. They work in land movers, earth movers, trucks, trailers, race cars, race teams, V8 supercars, Top Fuel. They're getting ready for a big event down there in Australia in Alice Springs. And Matt told us on the Ignition Show last night, Alice Springs. And of course, I made a joke about Alice Springs chicken, and it went very wrong sideways. Who knew there was an actual Alice Springs? But the bottom line is, and everyone in Australia knows, that's the answer. Who knew? Australia knows. TorqueCalibrationServices.com.au. If you're down under, reach out to this guy. He's a great guy. And then, of course, our Patreons, the people who support the show through a monthly, kick-in. And I just sent out patches and pins and all the swag you're supposed to get. And they're going to get it right as they watch the U.S. Nationals. All right. Now it is time to go out to Tony Stewart's shop in Brownsburg, Indiana. Let's just go out there. Reinhardt's going to step into the shop. We're getting a view there. You got superchargers, you got tools, you got a drag steering.
Oh, this isn't Tony Stewart's shop. This is Larry Dixon. This is Larry Dixon's shop.
I thought you said it was Tony Stewart's shop.
No, I said I did the press conference at Tony Stewart's shop. And then I came over here. It's like a long-standing tradition. Every time I'm in Indy, I come by Larry Dixon's shop. He's never here.
Yeah.
So I stick a business card in the door. And then he goes, dude, I was next door. Why didn't you send me a text message? And I went, no, you weren't there. You didn't care enough. So, and that's kind of a running joke between us. So I came over here today to stick a business card in the door. And Larry, he's back there working on a rear end. But they're getting Will Smith's car ready to go for this weekend.
Okay, well, that's great. I was confused. I thought you were hanging at Tony's because of the other press conference. What you do? Well, they're all together, right? Nitro Alley. John Force has got an open house or a media event tomorrow. Fans, I don't think, can just show up. But that whole area has got to be activated right now. But since you're mentioning Larry Dixon, there is a great story. Larry Dixon as a team owner for Will Smith trying to get qualified for the U.S. Nationals. Like, Larry Dixon's got a legion of fans that have been desperate to see something that he's involved in, and now he's involved in something.
Yeah, and he's very much looking forward to it. They're looking forward to getting back out on the racetrack. And as you said, Larry certainly has a lot of fans and a lot of friends and a lot of stuff that he hasn't seen in a while because he just hasn't been at the racetrack much. So I think it's going to be great to have him back out there. I think it would be better if he was in a car, but for this, hey, I'll take it one step at a time.
Well, let's get Will to shake the car down and get everything ready to go.
Sure.
And all we need is for Larry. Look, I don't want to get everybody excited, all right? But if Larry Dixon could be back out there, we just need a good corporate sponsor. Larry is not one of these independent billionaires. Larry would need someone that wants a good, solid relationship with one of the genuine legends of the sport. And Larry would be back out there, and he's got the stuff to do it. That would be super exciting.
Yeah, and who knows? I mean, Larry still has a car, has a truck, has a trailer, has the whole operation.
There he is. Oh, I see him. Look at you don't have to do that, Dixon, to get airtime. You got to tell him what I'm saying, Reinhardt.
I got my earbuds in, so he can't hear you. He said if you want to get on the air, you can get on the air. You don't have to just sneak around behind us. What? hang on a second.
Yeah,
Hang
this is crazy stuff. Yeah, this is chaos, baby. Share this, baby. Larry Dixon, totally unplanned. Going to be on the Monday Morning Racers on there. Good morning, Joe. Alan headed to Indy now. Yeah, I saw that. Roger Richards and Doug Core and everybody's on there. And look at everybody that's on there. This is tremendous. All right, is it working, Alan? I think I'm going to have to kick you out, and then you reconnect, and then it'll know. That's what happens. We kick him out, and then when he comes back in, it'll reconnect with his phone. We're going to get Larry Dixon. If you're a fan of Larry Dixon, share the show. Can't wait to get there. Going to be epic. Some familiar pro stock motorcycle names competing. Yeah, you could say so. At my eye doctor's for a checkup, you have no closed captions. We'll rewatch tonight. You can turn it on, I guess. Antdog says, afternoon, Joe. Good morning, Joe. What's up, everybody? The big go, Indy. How about now?
Yeah. Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I disconnected my earbuds, so. Larry.
That's great. Get over here, Larry. Larry, the fans. Larry.
I took my earbuds out, so now you can yell at him, too.
Yeah.
See, look at him. He's in good enough shape.
There he is, Dixon. What's up, Larry? Yeah, Reinhardt. Standing next to Reinhardt is always tough. I have that problem, too. So you excited?
Forward too. Like, see, I'm actually taller now.
Right there. All right, team owner Larry Dixon. You got a driver who's fulfilling his dream with this moment. That's got to be pretty cool.
It's awesome. You know, it's our sport. All sports are generational, but like just the next generation of people that are coming in and having an opportunity to help Will along. I mean, he's doing a lot of it on his own. He's making his own. He's choosing his own destiny, and he's going forward. And I just happen to be riding along on his coattails. But it's real neat. The licensing process went really good. He did a great job in the car, and that kind of snowballed into, hey, let's try and run Indy. Then you have some people telling you, why would you want to go there? There's too many people and too many cars and all that. And it's like, if you can't, I'd be bummed if there weren't more cars, or if there was less cars, I guess I should say, from that standpoint. This is Indy. It's the biggest race. It's down the street. We both think alike as far as the importance of Indy and go there. And we'll try just as hard as, if there's 25 cars or if there was 12. So we're going to go in there and do everything we can and see how we stack up.
I am just super excited that you are back out there and competing, and I know what's going to happen. You're done. You're you're going to be getting so hard by this deal, and Will's going to do a great job.
That would be awesome, but I like that thought process, and I'm not throwing it out the window. But also I have Dick LaHaye in the back of my mind that had said you never let your ego get in the way of your wallet. So we'll do as much as we can with what we got, and we'll see how it goes.
Way to go, Larry. Thank you for taking a little time. Let you get back to it, but super excited. Way to go.
Thanks, Joe.
Thanks, Larry. Larry Dixon. All right, now, Alan, you got to put your earbuds back in because there's an echo. So I'm going to kick you back out, put your earbuds back in, and then come back.
I think it'll just try it. I think it'll just hook up.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. Look at that. We've got, he was a little low. Larry was a little low. You guys got to deal with it, guys. You got to deal with it sometimes. You can barely hear anything from Larry. He's a little low, but now we got Reinhart. Unmute yourself because it muted. And there it is. Good morning. Yeah, you just always got to go back in. That's the way it works. How about that? Larry Dixon, Will Smith. Will was on our happy hour show, like tweeting on there, talking a little bit about how maybe he could get Jason Logan to put his face on the side. And Jason Logan was charging too much, and so it didn't work out. Just had to peg the volume. Yeah, that's it. Sometimes you got to raise the volume, guys. It's an imperfect world out there. Occasionally, when Larry is off mic on the phone in a loud shop, at that point, you got to say to yourself, the audio is probably going to be a little lower. I should turn it up. That's all. Can you share what Larry said? He's super excited. He's super excited to be back. He's doesn't want to get addicted to the sport, but you never know. And here's Alan Reinhart. Hey, that was great to hear, Larry. Like he's moderate in his tone, but he is excited. So that is great news.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, what he said about he's a competitor, and he would rather go out and race against 25 cars than race against 10. I mean, it goes back to when he was driving and when he was. You don't want to take a solo in the final. You don't want to, if you're not the world champion, you want to beat him in the final, or you want to beat him on the way to the final. You want to go out there and punch out everybody that's there. It's not as much fun, I don't think, if you're limping in.
Okay, so on that note, because Blake's going to be calling in a few minutes, let's start with Top Fuel. 24 cars for 16 spots, plus the Pep Boys All-Star call-out. I have been saying all week, because we've had a lot of time to think about this, that Brittany Force, who gets to make that call-out, should call out Steve Torrence and just go for the biggest moment possible, because they're all tough. Salinas, Justin Ashley, Steve, like, who's the duck on the pond? The answer is nobody. Brittany might as well go for a huge medium moment and call out the 4-time champ and say this is it. And if she beats him, man, that would be great for her.
Like you said, there's not really a duck on the pond. So I think that it certainly would attract a lot of attention if she did that. And you're going to have to beat them all at some point anyway. So if I'm Brittany, I might make that choice, because if nothing else, I think it would irritate Steve. I don't think he'd go, oh, that's cute, that's funny. I think it would irritate him, which means he's going to be coming to the start line with a chip on his shoulder, and that's what the fans want to see, right?
It would get the most media attention, bar none. There's no doubt that would get the most media attention, the most replays, the most retweets, the most attention from outside people. They raced each other in the final round of the big race last year. They've been battling on the track for the last 5 years. To try to go around him, man, just call him out, Britt. Do it.
I think it'd be great. I think that would be a classic time to put up a poll, right? Pick a side. I remember wherever we were when Greg and Erica, pick a side. Let's hear who you're rooting for, because everybody's going to have a favorite in that race. If Brittany and Steve race each other, whether she calls them out or if they happen to both advance and race in the final, everybody in the place is going to be rooting for somebody, and that's what you need. That's what the sport needs. You've got to have some kind of an emotional tie. If you've got two guys that are racing that you don't particularly care about, right? You want to see a good race, or maybe you want to see them both smoke the tires. But it's so much better. And, to go back in the day, I've used the analogy a lot of times, but not recently. Top Fuel would be running, okay, or Funny Car would be running, and they're running, and somebody said, oh, look, Prudhomme's racing McEwen. And everything stops, because everybody wanted to see those two. You had a favorite. And, when it was Force and Bazemore, when it was, the beer cars against each other, when Larry and Kenny were going at it, everybody had a favorite, and that makes it, your fans need to have an emotional attachment. And if Brittany and Steve race each other, whether she calls them out or whether they, if they happen to both advance to the final, everybody there is going to be rooting for somebody, and that just makes for a better experience.
Let's talk about some of the strategy. We spoke with Steve yesterday, guys. That's in the archive. Please watch it and share it, because he was great. But that Friday night session is very important. We got 24 cars for 16 spots Friday night. If you get down well, you're going to have a good spot. That's going to be tough to knock out with those daytime sessions on Saturday and Sunday. If you go up in smoke and you're one of the call-out drivers, now you're going into the call-out up in smoke. You're trying to get qualified. There's a lot of extra stuff that goes into it. So I'm really expecting that Friday night session to be something fun.
Yeah, I think it will be. I think, the long-range forecast is pretty good. It's not going to be a baking hot, boiling Indy, so I don't know that, if you don't run good Friday, that you're not going to be able to get in the top half, or you're not going to be able to. I don't think it's do or die. It certainly takes the pressure off, especially for those drivers that are still alive in the call-out for the Top Fuel car.
Absolutely. So, but when you have 24 cars for 16 positions, the people who fight to be negative, and it's just amazing. I've been pushing back a little bit on Facebook, talking about how in the 1960s, there were 60 Top Fuel cars going for, but it's not an apples to apples comparison, though. I don't know what people mean.
What I'm curious about is how many of the people that think that was the heyday and that was a beautiful thing, how many of you guys were in Bowling Green last week to watch Top Dragster run? Because that's how fast Top Fuel was going.
Right. Was that Will?
No, that's Larry.
Oh.
But that's, everybody wants today but they want to go back 30 years and have everything like it is today. I just, happened to bump into a guy the other night when I was having dinner wherever I was, and sitting at the bar, and a guy comes in, and he's sitting there, and we're sitting there chit-chat. Actually, it was in Bowling Green, and he said something about the races, and I said, yeah. And he wasn't there for the races. He was there for something else. And yeah, I haven't been there in years. It just isn't the same as, everything was better then. I said, really? I said, do you want to trade in your whatever you're driving for that, 72 half-ton pickup with a 3-speed on the column? Well, no, I don't want to do that. I said, well, then everything wasn't better back then.
Right.
And, things change and things happen. For everybody that says it was better back in the day, but they don't want to give up 330 miles an hour. So, you can't have both. And I would rather have 11,000, 12,000 horsepower cars doing what they do right now than to go back and slow them down to 225 miles an hour. And I like where we're at today.
Junkyard parts, mail order chassis. There was no such thing as top dragster, top sportsman, pro mod. There were so many fewer categories of choice that you could go fast. It's a not winnable argument for those people. If you really think about it, the fact that we've got 43 nitro cars on the property in the Camping World Series is amazing. All right. I said we're going to have Blake Alexander. He is in a very unique situation, Alan. Okay. He can race his way into the countdown. So let's bring him on and pepper him with questions, rapid fire style. Blake Alexander, welcome to WFO. How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
I'm good. Like, look at the flowers back there, Alan. I don't know if you can see them, but it's definitely a very fancy.
It's pretty obvious that it's pretty obvious that he's not in a race shop. Blake, I don't know if you're watching. I'm in Larry Dixon's race shop. They're getting the top fuel car back there ready for Will Smith to come out this weekend. But
where are the flowers?
Yeah, where are the flowers? He goes, where are the flowers?
Come on, man. It's a race shop.
I know. I'm just kidding.
You looking forward to this, I bet?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a big week. And as much as at times the younger guys, I think we don't realize exactly what it is. But when you race with some of these older gentlemen, like I've gotten the pleasure of doing, you just realize how important this race is and how the history has just kind of preceded everything that we've done as younger guys in the sport. And we have to be kind of respect it. And then once you get there, you realize exactly what it is.
Your team owner has had a lot of success here. He's on a pretty short list of people that have won this race in both Top Fuel and Funny Car. You guys need to have a successful weekend if you're going to be in the countdown to the championship.
Yeah, and that's why we stayed after and tested in Brainerd, and we honestly ran the fastest the car's run since 2018, since before I was driving it. But that needs to translate into a warmer, conditions, and the track in Brainerd was honestly just kind of bonkers for everyone. So we're gonna use what we learned and also be a little bit cautious with what we learned too, because we need to go out there and start, solidly Q1 and then move forward. But everything we did, we liked, and I've been to lots of different test sessions where you try something and it doesn't work, and that didn't actually happen last week when we were in Brainerd on Monday.
Absolutely. The system that enables you to race your way in, 1.5 points. You guys haven't been to all the races, but you still have a chance. You just got to win a couple of rounds this weekend, win a round maybe this weekend, and you can race your way in. But by thinking about that doesn't make it so. You've got to focus on the process, not the outcome, to quote Troy Coughlin Jr. How do you do that in this very difficult situation of the biggest race and the biggest spotlight?
You focus on small things like they're big things, really. I mean, all the little things that you do on Friday, from the way you drive, the way you set the car up, and the way you kind of approach the 5 runs. And qualifying well at the race is obviously the first goal. And we've got 5 runs to do it and 2 night runs. So it'll kind of be like paying attention to all the small details. And then hopefully that puts up, a good number on the board and prints out a good time slip.
Given the choice, if you could picture this in a perfect world, would you like to run Jim Campbell round 1?
Yeah. I'd race anyone who, we're not necessarily honestly, it's not been too much of a conversation. The goal is to do as well as we can at this race and let the chips fall where they may. But yeah, if we could get in position to do that, we would take that opportunity and try to do our best with it.
But I got to believe if I'm him, I'm thinking the same way. I'd rather have my destiny in my own hands than leave it up to somebody else. And if I was in your seat, I'd be thinking exactly that. If I got to pass that guy, I want to race that guy. Because if you don't, there's nothing you can do about it. I'd rather, like I said, put the responsibility on my shoulders, and I kind of figured that would be your mindset.
Yeah, that's our mindset. I mean, we're not necessarily going to be able to control all the factors that line that up, but obviously, whoever we race in the first round, we're going to try to beat them. And if it's someone who's in our way, then so be it.
Blake, you've been coming on WFO. It's been a little bit of a dry spell since you've been on the show. Thank God we were sitting next to each other on the airplane a few weeks ago, and we got to rekindle this. But I remember you coming on right before the Gator Nationals, right? Like you were doing one-off deals with Paul Smith, trying to fight your way into this world that you're now in, and you're a competitive driver, and you've got a car that'll run 390s on a pretty regular basis, and you've traveled a long distance to get where you are. But I know you want to go a lot further. So I kind of want to just your assessment of what you have accomplished to get to this point. It's never enough. You're not where you want to be, but you set many goals for yourself, and you've accomplished many goals that you set forth. Just reflect on that a little bit.
Oh yeah, obviously it's a long process when you don't have a last name or family financial backing that's going to carry you through to the sport's top echelon. But honestly, it's just been a lot of great partners, a lot of people who helped me, and it's been awesome to be kind of a conduit of what they're trying to achieve in business, and just use the NHRA platform and connect with the people who are NHRA fans, who many of them are people who throw away the box on the part that people use, or are end users of the products that these sponsors are trying to, tackle and associate with in the NHRA pits. So we've done well, and I've had multiple different sponsors throughout the years, and I am fortunate now to have a little bit more stability. But like you said, it's never enough, and you always want more. And a win this weekend at Indy would be something that we're looking for. I mean, we've qualified in the top 5 at a lot of different races, and we honestly just don't put things together like we should on Sunday. And I think that's one of the reasons why we stayed after and tested and kind of changed our approach. And I mean, we could get the car to run 389, but when we were doing it, we were trying very hard, and we're trying to make sure that the clutch and the motor need each other more, and we can kind of have a good process about it.
Well, hey, just working on a fuel pump. Just one of those.
I'm going to mute you
like
for a
someone's
second.
got the BFH out.
He did get the BFH is out. Alan, I've muted you for a moment because it's just through the microphone. It's overpowering. Hey, Blake, could you hear that? Just kidding. Different Blake, not Blake Alexander. Blake, who is watching out there. So, Alan, just wave when the banging stops, okay? Alan will be, and okay, there it is. Wow,
I think we're good now.
You're good. That was dramatic right there, right? Blake, are you okay?
I'm fine.
All
I
right.
hope everyone else is that race car part or whatever that was isn't going to be doing okay.
Drag race.
He's working on the weather station. It's just minor little stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
Come on, we all live at the drag races. That wasn't loud.
Yeah, well, through here it was actually crazy loud. But Blake, your dad now too, right? Like a guy who was out there trying to get sponsorship. Your whole life has evolved. Now you're married. You're a parent. You've got a little one looking up at you, and it's got to be different to chase your dream the way you are with that situation.
Yeah, I never really got this far when I was picturing doing this, and I didn't really realize all the other areas of trouble that would come with this. But not trouble within the parenting realm, just within trying to be a nitro funny car racer, a nitro top fuel racer. But yeah, it's just a little bit busier. I think everyone kind of navigates it well, and all of our parents did their best with us, and we're trying to do the same with James. He actually came to Indy last year, but he's not coming this year. It's a little bit easier to tackle a 5-day race weekend without a baby.
Yeah, I am so happy you said that, right? Because I see some folks out there doing it, and I was like, oh man, I can't even imagine what's that like for the little ones. But very good.
A lot
Alan,
of work
final
on
question.
Sunday morning.
Well, exactly. Final question for Blake. Alan?
I don't have one. I just want to wish you luck, and hope you don't have any issues traveling, getting here. Travel has been kind of a crapshoot the last few days, but I look forward to seeing you guys battling it out on the racetrack. And good, best of luck to you. Whoever made the best man, as it is, wins.
Yeah, we'll go at it, and we'll see what happens out there. I'm excited about having 2 night sessions, and then during the day, obviously, it'll be one of those awesome races where anything goes, and the sun's going to be out and heating up the racetrack. So it'll be great.
Well, good luck. I'm wishing you good luck to get in the countdown as well, because if you were to pass Jim Campbell, that doesn't knock him out of the countdown. It just adds you to the countdown. And I think I'd love to see Jim Head in the countdown and you guys battle it out. You're running well. You're qualifying well. You translate that to a couple of Sundays. You never know what can happen. So good luck, Blake.
I appreciate you guys. Have a good rest of your day.
There he goes, Blake Alexander with us here on WFO Radio. Way to go, Blake. Thank you so much. And very exciting. Look at Reinhart. You going to go get a hammer? Are you going to participate in that? They're going to put you to work?
Well, at least not yet. I'm just looking to see if he's finished with it, but hopefully.
Well, we don't want to interrupt anybody's work. So if I just mute your mic, don't be upset. Just wave when it's back. And we'll go.
No problem.
Everyone's pretty excited about Blake out there. That's kind of cool. Jim Head, I had a nice conversation with Jim out there in Brainerd. Man, if that guy could go out there and pull off some sort of an Indy win with Blake, like that would be a tremendous story.
We've seen it. Indy is a place that has had some surprise winners, some surprise finalists over the years. And, I think the biggest thing, and one of the things I talked about at the press conference, is that Indy is back. Okay. 5 qualifying runs for all of the pro teams. The shootouts are going to be along the way, but everybody's got 5 qualifying runs. Everybody should be very comfortable with the racetrack by the time we get ready to go on Monday. Back to Monday final eliminations instead of Sunday, which we haven't done for a few years. And so the whole vibe of the place is just like, it almost felt like the last couple of years. Yes, it's still the U.S. Nationals. Yes, it still means a lot but it never really felt like Indy. And, when we came out of the COVID shutdown and ran 4 races here because we could, and it was all by necessity. But then you get, okay, well, we're going to race at Indy, and we're going to race at Indy. Okay, this time it's the U.S. National. And yes, it still goes on your resume as the U.S. National. But it didn't feel like Indy. And this week, it feels like Indy. I mean, this early in the week, it feels like Indy.
It does to me. It does to me. I'm excited, and I think about the journey and just all the stuff that's going to happen. Robert Height, a shoe-in to be first in points. Red Hagen, Caps, Tasca. Talked to Bob Tasca yesterday. He's feeling it, Alan. He's feeling good. He ran zippy in the final round in 2011. He says at least he doesn't have to worry about getting beaten by his crew chief this time.
And he's got the best car right now. I mean, the last month or 6 weeks or so, he has had the best car on the racetrack, and I don't think there's anybody to argue with that. But everybody else now has had a little time off to kind of recruit, go through their stuff, make sure that everything is prepared as it can be coming into Indy. And since the vast majority of the shops are based here, they've been putting in whatever hours it takes, whatever time it takes to make sure that this is the place. This is, so many friends, family. There's a lot of shops that have employees that this is the one time they can come out and watch the car race. And it just makes it that much more special. It also makes everybody put in that much more effort to be sure that they've got their best foot forward.
Absolutely. We got the Pep Boys All-Star call-out in Funny Car as well. Robert's going to get to call out somebody. I have no advice as to who he should call out, right? With Britt, it's easy. With Robert, he could call out anybody, and it's going to be good.
I think he should call out Tasca. I mean, I really believe that if I'm Robert, that's what I'm doing. Because if I'm going to have to race him at some point, which the way Tasca's running right now, I would think he's got a legitimate shot of being around late. I'd rather get him before he gets 2 more practice runs. And, mindset, the old classic deal, right? If you punch the biggest guy in the crowd and he falls down, then everybody else is going to take a step back a little bit. And right now, Bob Tasca's the funny car bully right now. I would go right at him.
I love that. No, I love that. The Caps story. Caps is now a 2-time champ, runner-up last year. Wilkerson beat him. I don't want to make it into that, Dale Earnhardt, Tony Stewart, Daytona 500 story. He's got a car that can win. At any point, Ron Caps can win. It's just whether the racing gods want him to win. That's it.
Yeah, he went to the final round last year, and everybody figured this is it. He's finally going to win Indy. That's a done deal. And then Tim Wilkerson really surprised him in the final. So, this year, it's Indy. I mean, anything can happen. I think we're just going to have to wait and see. I do agree that Ron has got a car that can win on any race, any day, but the last month and a half, Bob Tasca has the best funny car that's out there, unless somebody has found something in this last week or 10 days to step them up a little bit, because Tasca has had the best car on the racetrack the last month and a half.
Absolutely. All right. Blake out there wants to know, what are you most excited about this race weekend, Alan? And there's so much going on. Like, we can't even fit it all into one show. Like Jegs All-Stars, Dodge Hemi Challenge, Factory Stock Showdown, the alcohol categories. There's just so much going on. So Blake wants you to narrow it down to most.
Class elimination, stock and super stock. It's been a long time since we've been able to do full class eliminations. It's been a long time since we've had the number of cars that we're going to have here. And being a muscle car guy, a hardcore car guy, I just absolutely love class eliminations. And, even in years past, when it's rained and things get shortened and things happen, and, okay, they're going to give a trophy to whoever was the low ET of A automatic or whoever was the low ET of B automatic. But I'm really looking forward to a couple of days of sportsman cars, wheels up, flat out, having at it for class eliminations. I think that is my number one thing right now. That's going to take place on Friday and Saturday, Thursday and Friday. Once that's behind, then I think I'll move on to whatever the next thing is that I'm really looking forward to. But right now, class eliminations is what I'm laser focused on. I can't wait to get started. We had 116 stockers in Bowling Green. And the vast majority of it was guys that are just making sure they're ready to come to Indy, because this is a race. We have more cars than we can fit in the field, so you're going to have to qualify. This is a race where all the fast guys are going to come, and this is a race where you come up, where you flex your muscle and show off. And I love class elimination.
I agree. Wheels up, going after it, and there are people that care only about winning class. The eliminator is fine, but if you win class, you've conquered your goal.
Well, if you go back in time, and a number of the stock and super stock racers are kind of old school racers that are still out here doing it, winning class at Indy was bigger than winning the U.S. National, because of the way the races were formatted back then. If you came out and won class, you basically told everybody, I have the best XYZ car, whatever your category is, and that's bragging rights for the year. And there are still some guys that have that mentality. And as you mentioned, there are some racers that will come here, run class, and not even stay for the eliminator. They come here for one reason, and that's to get the class championship trophy. It's old-fashioned throwdown, heads up, no breakout, no handicap. Come and get you some racing. And if you really enjoy the muscle cars, I don't think there's anything like it.
I agree. No, it's the best. And we're going to try to do some great social media work around class eliminations. Mickey and myself on Thursday. Super excited about that. All right, let's talk factory hot rods. Let's talk pro stock. Erica going for 3 U.S. Nationals in a row, 4 overall. There's a couple of racers who have done 4 in a row. Bob Glidden, Warren Johnson, Greg Anderson. To get to 4, you got to go 3, and he is going for it.
And she's got a good car, but Troy Coughlin's got a really good car. I spoke pretty extensively last week with Bo Butner. He was down there racing in Bowling Green. Jason actually came up. Jason Johnson came up and spent a little time up there. They're really excited about their new car. They believe that that's going to be the thing that puts them up in the same performance realm with their elite teammates. And then, of course, you got all the KB guys coming at you. I won't be the least bit surprised if Team McGahey has been maybe sitting on something back in the shop and just waiting to come up here in Indy and unleash it. You look at what's happened the last couple of times we had pro stock on the track, and you got to believe Troy Coughlin right now looks like the man to beat. Eric is certainly right in the middle of the mix. Greg has had a great car. He just needs to be a little bit more consistent on Sunday, but he's back to qualifying where he had been qualifying in the past. So, I think he's sick and tired of everybody asking, when are you going to? And he'd like to, nothing better than to do it here and just get it over with.
Wow, 100 at the U.S. Nationals for Greg Anderson. That's really some storybook stuff right there.
If he can make it happen, and he certainly looks like he's got a car that's capable of doing it. That's been the fun thing about pro stock all year, is how tight the competition is, even though Eric has had the lion's share of the wins, and certainly Elite by far has the lion's share of the wins. but it's not somebody, and love Bob Glidden to death, but it's not somebody that's out there that's got a tenth of an advantage or a tenth and a half an advantage on the field, or even Warren Johnson days where you got 400s or 500s on the field. It's a bunch of cars that are very, very close, and you just can't make any mistakes, especially on Sunday.
All right, speaking of pro stock, let's bring on the winner of the last Dodge Power Brokers race. Maybe there's something in that, the 2020 runner-up in pro stock. Matt Hartford.
Hey, guys, how are you?
I am great. Reinhart is in the middle of a construction zone.
Well, they're constructing a rear end for a top fuel car.
Yeah, that makes sense. So I do have a question for you, Alan.
Okay.
When is Greg going to win 100?
I'm in the same boat he is. I just get it over with. Get it over with. As I just said a minute ago, he's got a better car now than he had earlier in the year. So it's just going to be a matter of putting 4 consistent runs together on Sunday. And I think he's as tired of hearing about it as anybody. I think he just wants to get it over with.
Yeah, I mean, he showed back up at Seattle, and there's no doubt that whatever they changed between Sonoma and Seattle, his car picked right back up to where it was, earlier in the year, let's say last year.
Well, let me ask you, Hartford, is Greg going to win 100 this weekend?
No.
Why is that?
Because
Matt's going to win.
Yeah. There you go. All right. See,
Look,
this guy.
How did you not know the answer to that, Joe?
No, I knew. It was a setup. That's what that is. It's a setup. You set somebody up so that they can look cool with their answer.
No, see, I said it going into Denver that, we really had a bone to pick about Denver from 19 when we went to the finals and we ended up runner-up to Greg. And, that hurt a lot to lose to him in the finals in Denver in 19. We came back in Denver and we closed the deal. In 20, we went to the finals. We had a great car in 20. And in the finals, it was a tight race. I mean, Erica and myself, she got the win light, but by no means would you look at our performance in 20 there and say that we didn't have a car that could win that race. And I think that we have not shown it in eliminations or qualifying. We've been really close on a lot of the runs, but it's not like we're, 800ths or a tenth behind in eliminations. We've been on the wrong side. We haven't been making quite the right calls during qualifying. Now it's time to get serious. I mean, everybody's in the countdown, so it's not like you have to fight to be in the top 10. We've done a lot of testing this year during qualifying, and honestly, it's hurt us on race day. So, the notes are back out. We're going back to what we knew from 19 and 20, and we're going to try to run a lot better this weekend.
Alan, question for Hartford.
Well, I was just going to ask, have you done anything since Brainerd? Have you done anything with the car, done anything since Brainerd coming in here?
Well, so when the car left Topeka, it went to Jerry Haas's shop, and it sat in a trailer.
I could have said Topeka, I'm sorry, yeah.
And then during Brainerd, it still sat in a trailer. And then between Brainerd and now, it's still sat in a trailer. And so we will unload it on Friday morning. So since Topeka, it's sat in a trailer.
That's wonderful.
Hey, I say it every time I'm on the show to each of you. Matt Smith said, hobby racer. I'm a hobby racer by all definitions for what he says. We all work for a living. We do not make our money racing. Now, we spend a lot of money racing and we're serious about doing it, but racing is not how we get a paycheck every week. So therefore, that stuff has to be put away so we can go make a paycheck.
That makes sense. Well, you did win a race this year, and that was a big deal. And there's a bunch of stuff going on in your pit this weekend. We got a couple of totals. Can we talk about the other job, right?
Sure.
Yeah, the thing that you make money with, right? This company called Total Seal. And we're going to do a trackside tech talk on Friday at 1, Saturday at 10. A brand new presentation from what I hear, according to Keith Jones through Lake Speed. And people are going to learn about how to make cars go fast.
Yeah, Indy's a great time. We bring out so many friends and family, from around, and then all the customers come there. So Indy's a big deal for us, not only the racing side, but it's just, we get to see people you don't see all year long. Everybody comes to Indy. It's the biggest race. If you win Indy, you've done something. There's no doubt about it. So even if you qualify at Indy, I think you've done something. And I think that'll be very prevalent in all the classes this weekend. They're big fields everywhere, which is great. So, hopefully we have a lot of fans out there. Their tech talks have a lot of attendance. I think they will if the weather's nice. And then, moving forward next week, I think we have Mr. Reinhart going to join us for a few days, and we're going to do we're going to pre-film a lot of the tech talks from Total Seal throughout the rest of the year.
Yeah, my only weekend off between Mother's Day and the World Finals, and so I'm going to go up to Phoenix and hang out at Total City.
Very cool.
It'll be fun.
No, I'm looking forward to it.
Let's look beyond the U.S. Nationals. Matt, a couple of years ago, you had a really great season. You entered the countdown, and it just didn't go your way.
Nope.
Well, this year, you've had a not great season, but you kind of found yourself halfway through it, and you got a race win. Can you turn things around this year and go out and get a couple of rounds in each race in the countdown and mix it up and get back into that top 5 in points? Or
I think so. I don't see any reason why we can't. You know, the good news is that the good news and bad news is we lease engines. So on the good news, we lease engines. So if anything happens, we roll over and we get another one. The bad news is we're also getting the same power as our competitor. We never get technically more than what our competition has. But this weekend, I know we rolled the engine over to Greg after Topeka, said, help us, give us everything you got. We need it for Indy and we need it for the countdown. And he said, sure thing. You will get the best that we can give you starting in Indy. So we'll have a fresh new bullet going in on Friday morning. And I have a lot of faith in, you look at how his car picked up, Kyle's car picked up, Dallas's car picked up. They've all had fresh engines starting in Seattle and Topeka. I'm hoping that we follow that same suit.
How big a deal are the extra 2 qualifying runs in Indy?
Well, last year we got 1, so I'll take 5. I mean, I think it's huge. I think getting 4 qualifying runs helps us because we don't test, but it also gives everybody the opportunity to catch up. Like in Denver, we ran really good in qualifying, but it also gave everybody else that extra qualifying run to catch up to where kind of tighten the field. I think in Indy with 5 qualifying runs, you better make a good run on Friday night. And, you know, by Sunday afternoon, that later session on Sunday, if you're not solidly up in the top half, you're probably not going to be. So you got to come out of the gate on Friday and Saturday and make the right calls. And you better be aggressive on Friday night because whoever's aggressive is probably going to the front.
Any final questions for Matt Allen?
Nah, just looking forward to seeing you. When do you get into town?
I get in Thursday. I think probably about 4:30. I think we land American on that nonstop. So I think 3:30, 4 o'clock, and I'll come to the track. Yeah,
it gets in at 3:34. I get on that plane every week. You mentioned all the extracurricular stuff because it's Indy. That's got to be a combination of extra incentive, but it's also got to be a little bit of a distraction. How do you balance that?
You know, honestly, the 2 races that have distraction are Phoenix and Maple Grove. That's because I live in Phoenix, Total Seals in Phoenix, and then Maple Grove, obviously Eddie and Adam are both from Pennsylvania. I'm from Pennsylvania, so all the family and friends are from Pennsylvania. Indy to me I don't see any of that as a distraction because most of the people that show up there are also racers, so they understand what's happening in between. When you get to the racetracks where you have 50 people who are there just to hang out and spectate, sometimes, you know, they want to be involved, they want to help you, they want to, you know, pick up the bowl or do whatever. And we encourage everybody to be part of our team when we have those crowds. But it is also a little distracting when you have that many people wanting to help.
You don't mean me, right? With the valve springs and the tires? Like we can.
No, he doesn't mean you.
No, you need to come over and do more work. You know, you come over, you can licorice, ride around with Nikki. You know, come over and work, not just come over and be the celebrity.
Is that my rep? That I'm the guy who goes around riding around doing social media stuff who doesn't work?
That's not your rep. That's a fact.
Oh, gosh. You guys are not, this is not acceptable information. Matt, great luck. I appreciate you coming on the show very last second. Thank you very much, and we wish you good luck, and we'll see you this week.
All right. We'll
see you in a couple of days.
All right.
There he goes. Matt Hartford with us here on WFO. What do you mean it's a fact? What kind of nonsense is that?
Where's Joe? He's with Nikki. Oh, okay.
We are creating great stuff. And I've got to fix something in the studio, Alan. So why don't you tell us about the Dodge Hemi Challenge and how amazing it's going to be?
Well, the Dodge Hemi Challenge, of course, is, part of class eliminations. Because the Hemis have their own class, Dodge has gotten involved with it. The purse has gotten bigger. A number of times the competitors will all kick in extra cash because they want to race for more of it. I believe there are 18 cars entered this year, and it is only open to the 1968 Hemi Darts and Hemi Barracudas. There's a new trophy this year. In the last few years, the trophy has been a Hemi cylinder head, and the folks over at Mopar and the Power Brokers decided they wanted to do something a little different. So reached out to Tom Papsis, For those of you who don't know, he's Cold Hard Art. Google him and you'll see he does amazing stuff all at motorsports. And they basically said, we want a new trophy, and we want it to be special, and we want it to be cool. Have at it. And I saw some pictures of it today. It's pretty cool.
Well, that trophy right there, the WFO Radio Fantasy League trophy, which is now like maybe 10 years old, is a Tom Patsis Cold Hard Art piece of artwork with parts from DSR, Hendrick Motorsports, and Penske, all put together for our Fantasy League champion. And I'm proud to say that, you know, we were getting Patsis trophies before he was famous. You know, Alex Smith trophy.
Right, because you can't afford them now.
No, not at all. Are you kidding me? Patsis, he won't even take my calls anymore. But that's kidding. He does. But we've got a Patsis right over here. That's awesome. You know, the cylinder head was cool, but things got to evolve. They have to evolve. Good for Dodge.
Yeah, and they're very excited about it. It is a big deal for them because you know, as well as everybody in the industry does, how proud they are of their heritage, right? When you're talking about the new cars, whether it's the Challengers or the Chargers or the Durangos, and whether it's the Hemis or whether it's the Hellcats or whether it's, they are so proud of their stuff, and they really look back on their heritage. And it's like, look, the reason we're doing what we're doing today is because we did this stuff 50 plus years ago. And we're just still building on, and you know, they haven't forgotten where they came from, and they keep pounding out those big time muscle cars.
All right, let's talk Pro Stock Motorcycle. Joey Gladstone, right? Like, wow, Joey Gladstone. Can you make it 3 in a row? Do they have what it takes to go out there and win the big go and change that kid's life? I don't know if you saw, we had Joey on the show a couple of weeks ago when we did that like 5-guest super show, and he was on for 40 minutes or so. And man, the kid has got, in my opinion, he has got next level breakout star power. If Joey Gladstone is winning 4 races a year and on TV on a regular basis, he's going to get a lot of people that just love him and his energy. He was so cool. Here we go. You're peaking at the right time, Joey and Corey. What can you do with this? And, you know, the Eddie Krawiecks and the Angels and the Matt Smiths, they're going to have to answer, and maybe they will. But Joey Gladstone, what do you think?
Well, I think that he's got everything. He really is the total package. One, he can ride the bike. He has incredible ability on the bike. It took him a little while to get acclimated to a pro stock bike because he's ridden a lot of stuff that was faster, that was more powerful, but less technical. And so learning how to be technical on the pro stock motorcycle was a little bit of a learning curve, but he certainly has the ability to do that. He's got swagger. He's young. He's got a good look. He's got, I think, you know, if somebody's a motorcycle person, casual fan, and they're turning in, you look at some of the riders out there, and I don't mean any disrespect for this, but almost, you know, like the Vance and Hines team. Very polished, very corporate, and then you got Joey, right? Long hair, hey, you know, come and get me, dude. And I think that extra swagger and that extra attitude is tremendous. I think it's great because you need to have the rebel. And you need to have that outsider to come in and just kind of, you know, mix it up with the old timers, with the old guard, as you will. And I think everything about him, I think, is a positive.
Yeah, he's mixing it up with the old guard, to say the least. You know, his Miller Lite helmet, and they are doing it. It is amazing. And of course, you know, Jim and Annie Whiteley are supporting that deal, and thank goodness they are, right? Like those two, what a great deal they do for the sport of NHRA drag racing. All right, let's talk about the Lucas Oil Series, right? The top alcohol dragster, top alcohol funny car categories. This is tremendous. But Gordon, we're just happy that Doug is with us, right? He's in a championship fight. He's getting a new car ready. He texted with me as of last week that they were not going to be able to make it out. I assume that is still the case. That opens the door. Shane Westerfield has been so good coming into this race. He's got to be considered the favorite. That having been said, you got the Killer Bees and a lot of great cars.
Well, you know, Kyle Smith has been running very well. The torque converter cars have definitely found a little bit of a performance. But yeah, Shane Westerfield, I think, is the hottest car on the track right now. They went to the final here last year and got beat by Doug Gordon. So I think they feel like they've got a little unfinished business here in Indy. But
I love it. Let him do it. That's WFO right there. We got world champ.
That's a cameo appearance right there, where a 3-time world champ just jumps up in the back of the.
That's it. You don't get this anywhere else. All those polished, button-down shows, guys. You don't get that anywhere else.
But no, I think it's going to be great. I think that, down in Bowling Green last weekend, Rich McPhillips had both of his cars race each other in the final. And so I think he's pretty excited about getting back up here and trying to continue that. I think Randy Meyer left Bowling Green with a little bit of a chip on his shoulder because his cars both lost to Rich McPhillips' cars. And they're certainly not the only one. Sean Cowie's running really well right now. I think the weather obviously is going to play something in. I think if it gets a little bit warmer, that may be a bit of an advantage for the blower cars. But you've got a lot of guys out here that are running pretty good. James Stevens is running pretty good right now. I think it's very difficult to pick a solid favorite out of the alcohol dragster category because there isn't that one car driver that has been kind of running roughshod for the last 2, 3, 4 races in a row like we've had in every other category we've talked about so far.
All right, let me merge a couple of stories right now. You mentioned Rich McPhillips. Leah was on the show very recently, and I encourage everybody to go back and look at that interview. Leah did, great stuff, and she's feeling good. But she talked about Tony at the test after Brainerd running the McPhillips family car and making some runs in an A fuel car. So I think that's an exciting story. Like, what's up with that? And at the same time, this is coming across the desk on NHRA.com right now. Tony Stewart added to Fox broadcast booth for Dodge Power Brokers U.S. Nationals. So Tony is going to be in there with Tony and Brian giving his
Saturday and Sunday. Saturday and Sunday. He won't be there Monday.
That's fine, but his personal credibility to the sport, and if you're a SRX fan, an IndyCar fan, a NASCAR fan, all of a sudden you've got a nice familiar face, a guy that you might have rooted for, telling you why drag racing is so cool and why he's getting into it deeper and deeper. I think that's a positive story every way you spin it.
I think so too. I had lunch with Tony yesterday. He lives between Bowling Green and Indy, so on the drive up, I stopped by and we went and had lunch, and he talked about driving an injected nitro car. And I think it's interesting the way he thinks. You look at what he's done, whether it's in racing, whether it's in business, whether it's in anything he's put his hands on, and he wants to be successful. And he understands that there aren't a lot of shortcuts to being successful, that you have to respect the process. He's made enough runs in a top fuel car to have a license. But he said point blank, he doesn't feel completely comfortable in a top fuel car yet. He doesn't feel like he's up to speed, so to speak, with how fast things are happening and what's going on. That's why he wanted to get in the injected nitro car, is to kind of bridge the gap a little bit, take smaller steps as you were. But he really respects the process of what it takes to do this. And so that's why he wanted to get in the A fuel car. He said he felt very comfortable in the car. I talked to Rich in Bowling Green, and he said, Tony did an amazing job. He said, the thing is, you don't know with a guy like that coming in if he's going to be I'm Tony Stewart. And he wasn't. He came in and said, teach me, show me. I want to make sure that I do things right, that I follow the process that I do. And they both spoke very highly of working with the other. I think, and this is pure speculation on my part, but I think for everybody that wants to see Tony Stewart in competition in NHRA, I think you'll see him in an A fuel car before you'll see him in a top fuel car, because he has the respect for the process that I need to learn as I go. He hasn't even, a guy that's been drag racing his whole life. So there's so much stuff that he's learning. And we also talked about the TV thing, and he said, it's not exactly my area of expertise. And I said, well, yes, but if you've ever seen what he does on the NASCAR broadcast when he's in the booth, on the other stuff, he's very, very comfortable on camera, very, very comfortable speaking, and he can come in as a team owner and talk about maybe a little bit of a different perspective than what we usually get when somebody's in the booth. And he also has enough star power attached to his name that I think people will say, Tony Stewart's really there? And I think that'll help as well. I don't see downside at all. And I actually told him, I said, but you're going to bail on him, right, if one of your cars is in the final? And he said, no, I'm not doing it Sunday. He said, I'm going to do it, or not doing it on Monday. I'm going to do it on Saturday and Sunday. I think he's going to be a big plus. I think that as comfortable as he is, I said, on camera and in the situation, and the base of knowledge that he brings as still a relative newcomer, right? Every time somebody new comes into sports, he goes, this is awesome, this is awesome, this is awesome. And a lot of the stuff is things that, guys like you and I have been around for a while go, oh yeah, we're so used to that, we don't even think about it anymore. But no, I think he's going to be a big plus.
I agree. Well, that's it sometimes, and this happens in all sports, right? Where you start speaking your own language and people can't understand what language you're speaking, and they hear all these numbers and they, like grams on the clutch, and like, oh man, that car's blue, I like it, it's pretty. And Tony is like a nice link in that chain. He's come in, he knows a lot now, but he's very close to not knowing a lot, and he's still got the passion, and he's obviously passionate because he's diving in big time. So I think that is going to be great. Super excited. There's a million reasons to be excited for the U.S. Nationals, and we haven't even talked Pro Mod. You know, we had Ricky Smith on the show. Ricky Smith explained his whole side of the D-Wagon deal, and after he did, I just felt like, well, there are lessons to be learned so that we don't have this problem next time. But everybody is making valid points, and let's just put it in a box and move forward. And Ricky was actually really good in his explanations about everything that went on and his love for the sport and the fact that he may be retiring or might not be retiring. Everyone should go watch that interview. But now we're at the U.S. Nationals. He's got a fast ride. There's a lot of fast cars out there, and these guys will hang out the rods if they need to.
Ricky Smith's retirement tour, part 14.
Yes.
That could be a t-shirt. No, and the one thing, you know, I personally, I don't agree with the decision that Ricky made. But I give him credit for sticking to his guns. He felt strongly enough about it. And he's a guy who races for a living. Okay? I mean, most of the guys out there, like Matt was just talking about pro stock, so that's not where I make my money. That's where we spend money to go racing. So the extra money means more to Ricky than it does to most of the guys in the field because that's how he makes his living. But he felt strongly enough about his convictions to stand up and say, I'm not doing this, and I have complete respect for that. So I'm with you. If we can put that behind us and go, then let's put that behind us and go forward.
The good news about Pro Mod is there's always another controversy, like right around the corner.
Yeah.
That was nothing. We'll have a bigger one. All right, Factory Stock Showdown. Connor Statler is going to run one of the Stanfield cars, it looks like. They got 25 cars. That's always great. There's just so many great things out there to talk about. So just kind of like wrap everything up in a little bow. Concerts. There's all kinds of concerts going on, Alan. You know any of these concerts?
It's just Indy's back. And that's what I said at the press conference earlier today. You know, after the last couple of years of it still being the U.S. Nationals, but not really feeling like the U.S. Nationals, Indy's back, and it's back to, you know, what it's been in years past, where, you know, we get the itinerary for, okay, here's what's going to be going on throughout the course of the weekend, and I've asked more than once, excuse me, are we actually going to have time to run cars? Because you've got this announcement, this autograph session, this show, this cackle, this thing, this duel. Oh, by the way, we've got 900 race cars to send down the racetrack, and we are back to that this year. I have a feeling that Monday we're all going to be whooped, and it really is going to feel like we're back at the Dodge Power Brokers U.S. Nationals again.
Yeah, well, and if you really think about those concerts, by the way, Colt Ford, Anna McElroy, Boomtown Saints, I feel like it's all kind of country music, which isn't my favorite thing, but there are a lot of people that love country music. But people don't want to look back on the pain that they've experienced since 2020, like all the annoyances, the aggravations, the sickness, the fighting. Like, you don't want to, like, you break your arm, you don't remember what the pain of the arm was. You just go, you want to move forward and look forward. But the fact is, it's awesome that we are here the way we are, and we're getting ready to do what we're getting ready to do. Like you said, this is going to go back to 2019 style, where we have everything. We're going 110%, and hopefully every race fan that loves drag racing will buy a ticket to some day, some event, some portion of it, and come out and spend a little time with us. Because, you know, I don't think we could be more excited for what we're about to go through.
No, I'm looking forward to it. And it gets started tomorrow morning. We're going to have Lucas Oil cars on the racetrack tomorrow in qualifying and time trial. And then, you know, our Hardcore Thursday this week actually comes on Wednesday. And then on Thursday, some of the sportsman classes are actually going into elimination. And we're also going to have stock class eliminations. And then on Friday, just another full day of everything, including the first pro qualifying session, the Camping World session, which will be later on in the evening. Saturday, I believe, is All-Star Day. And it just, there's something special happening every day. And if you've got, if you got the time, we got the racing, I promise you.
There's a rumor that Jason Galvin and Jerron Settles are going to have a side bet in Super Comp Q1 or Q2 about best package, something about, announcing a round or a paid job. Jerron always likes to let us debut his new helmets. These are the newest ones for Mike Salinas that Geron has worked on for the Pep Boys stuff. So I think that is kind of cool. Galvin was out there racing in Bowling Green. This is another Geron Settles helmet. Check that one out. That's for Malcolm Phillips, right? Michael's nephew. That is amazing. I'm loving that one. But you watched Galvin race. He's going to run the big go. We're going to have an announcer who's also racing. That hasn't happened for a while. You saw him race. What do you think his chances are?
He qualified for the shootout and went to the semifinals in that, and then he went to the quarterfinals in the actual race. He did a really nice job in the car. He looked comfortable in it, and Tom Bear is a very good teacher. They missed something in the quarterfinals. The car didn't run the number that it was supposed to, and he ended up on the bad side of a double breakout. But he looks pretty comfortable in the car. He's doing a nice job. I think he's got good confidence. So I told him we were going to put him down to announce round number 2 of Super Comp, and he said, I'm using that for motivation. Good on you. I also was texting back and forth with Geron when he was running. I'm like, okay, well, here's his run. And Geron's like, oh, yeah, maybe I shouldn't have made this bet. But I'm looking forward to anything that just makes it fun. I mean, we need to remember that this is fun.
Yes, this is supposed to be fun, people. You can go out and watch a soccer game. You can watch a baseball game. You go there, and that's great. You can come to the NHRA and be in the middle of all of this chaos that we're talking about. And you can walk up to me or Reinhart and say what's up, and there's going to be a lot of fun stuff. And let's do it. Let's get it on. All right, Alan, I'll be watching on NHRA.tv tomorrow morning. As I travel, I get in mid-afternoon and through D.C., by the way. Very weird, but I'll see you at the track, and let's get it on.
Can't wait. See you tomorrow.
All right, there he goes. Alan Reinhart with us here from Larry Dixon Racing. Way to go, Alan. That was something. Wow, we had banging and beating and banging and noise and Dixon and all of that stuff. All right, guys, let's get some comments in the comment section. Final comments. I'm not just going to bail out on you immediately. I want to see what everybody has got to say out there as we talk and think about the 68th Dodge Power Brokers U.S. Nationals. I am super excited. Like that Jason Galvin, Geron Settles side bet, which really, guys, if you're out there, needs to be, we got to ink it. I am a big believer in locking in the details. Is this happening in Q1? Is this happening in Q2? What are the actual stakes? Is it just best package? What's going on? Right? Little WFO side bet. And, I'll throw in on top of it, the winner gets to come on WFO and trash talk the loser. Okay. Now I'm going to go to everyone's comments and we're going to talk a little bit about what's going on out there, but I got to tell you about these people. And what's been amazing is here in 2022, people are reaching out to WFO to get involved in the show. And it wasn't always that way. And it's all because of you guys, the listeners. Like when I ask you to share the show and you share the show, especially our YouTube stuff, which I'm going to talk to you about that in a second. But Marvin Rodak, 817-924-6821. Order some coffee, order some hot sauce, and experience Rodak's coffee. He's a drag racer, loves drag racing. I'm going to be at the Stampede of Speed, guys, from the Saturday before through the whole week, working with the guys at the Stampede of Speed down there at the Texas Motorplex. That's something else. If you want to go to those pre-NHRA events, the Pro Mod, all the different stuff, let me know. Email me, joe@wforadio.com. The reason I mention that when I'm talking about Marvin is he's down there in Fort Worth, Texas, and always goes to the Texas Motorplex. Call Marvin. Let him know what's up. Our Patreon audience, these guys are amazing. They are a VIP listener club, and they do pay a monthly, and they get some stickers and a pin and a patch and all that stuff to be part of the WFO universe. But really, they've become their own community. It's like 70 people that are on board with the WFO Patreon. Go to the website, WFOradio.com, see if it's for you. And if it's not, that's okay, right? Everything on WFO is free unless you want to become a VIP member, in which case you get a little extra stuff. Torque Calibration Services of Australia started out as a Patreon. And how many drag racers or motorsport team operators are down there in Australia watching the show? That's the question. He's in New South Wales, but he's got a great company. Whether it be trucks, trailers, earth movers, heavy equipment, calibrating your torque wrench is super expensive. Thank you, or super important, not very expensive. Thank you very much, Matt Clark, for what you do. TorqueCalibrationServices.com.au. Everybody check out the website and look up Matt Clark. Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School. The hardest thing for drag racing is the hurdle to entry, not just for a race fan who doesn't understand what it's all about until someone brings them to the racetrack and then they go, oh my gosh, This is so much more watchable on television now that I know what's all going on. We got to get someone to the track, right? Very challenging. Whereas a football game, some would argue it's better on television with all the camera angles. And a NASCAR race, some would argue it's better on television. A drag race is always going to be better in person because of the pits and the experience. Well, driving is even more challenging, except Frank Hawley makes it so easy. Courses start at $399. You get to make 3 runs. You show up with nothing, and you leave with the experience you'll remember for the rest of your life. Christmas is coming. The holidays are coming. I hate to be the one to tell you that. I was in the Home Depot the other day. They got the Halloween stuff out already. Start thinking about gifts, and Frank Hawley's Dragster Adventure will make you a hero. FrankHawley.com. Samtech.edu. This is Brian Massengill and the Massengill family. I love their story. We need to find people who know how to machine. Let's start a school. The rest is history. If you're thinking about enrolling, go to samtech.edu. They've got engine block programs and cylinder head programs and motorsport EFI tuning and CNC programming. And not everybody that graduates goes on to be a racer or racing engine builder. They have a lot of people going into aerospace. Think about all the jobs at NASA. We're going back to the moon. We're going back to Mars. Think about SpaceX, all the things that are going on in aerospace right now. Well, going to school at Samtech can be a great way in. Samtech.edu. Thank you, Brian Massengill and Judson and Linda. Bernie Speed Shop. This is Josh Hart's company. I just love the story. Go to bernies.com. The way you can help us is by following their social. Following their social. Josh bringing on Arno Carriers. Josh bringing on Armstrong Homes. Josh bringing all these people. But what is he really? He's an entrepreneur. He's an entrepreneur who started a business that is now very successful, and he loves Top Fuel. Phillips Connect. Justin Ashley, Mike Ashley. You know, Mike won this event. Justin Ashley has got to be one of the favorites to win the U.S. Nationals. Phillips Connect, Jim Epler, Smart Trailer Technology. Make the transportation industry safer and more efficient through web-connected sensors that keep track of the vehicles. Where are they? Of course. But are they safe? Is there a tire going down? Is there a wheel hub heating up? Is this thing loaded? Is it not loaded? All of these things. Phillips-Connect.com for those of you in the transportation industry. Love getting Hartford on there, right? He takes a minute or two out of work to come on and bust chops. TotalSeal.com if you need one ring or if you need a full set. I'm going to need a full set real soon. Pulled apart my engine, and the cylinder walls are like chrome in there. So I'm going to need a hone, and I'm going to need rings, and fortunately, I know where I'm going to get them. I'm going to call them first, except I'm not going to call them. I'm going to see them at the Big Go Friday at 1 o'clock in Hartford's Pit, Trackside Tech Talk, Saturday, 10 a.m. And to one of our people out there, I think it was Bill, asked, I wish they would post and stream the Tech Talks. That is a very good question, Bill. And the answer is go listen to Hidden Horsepower, the brand new one that we put up, me and Lake Speed just talking about this. We're going to try to go live on Total Seal's YouTube page. But if the internet at the track is not strong enough, which is always the problem, right? Going live from the track, the internet there is not strong enough. We're going to record it, and they are going to post the Tech Talks. These are brand new Tech Talks. So Saturday at 10, Friday at 1, you got to have a ticket to the race. You can't just show up and say you're going to the Tech Talk. That doesn't work like that. But come on over to the Total Seal Pit area. I'll be there too. And then there's FTI Performance Transmissions and Torque Converters. And I've been making the joke. FTI are the field in Super Comp and Super Gas. That's how dominant they have become in the transmission and torque converter game. Go to FTIperformance.com. But it's not just about big money bracket racing. It's not just about Top Sportsman and Top Dragster. If you're a weekend warrior looking for modifications to your Turbo 350, they do that too. They do everything. They're a top to bottom transmission and torque converter company for the automatics. FTIperformance.com. Let them know you heard about it on WFO. A couple other things that we got going. The WFO store is in full effect, and the Jet Car Joe Smoke and Fire t-shirt is now there. People are liking this. This one's actually, everyone told us we had to make a shirt, so we're making this shirt. We've got smoke, and we've got, I only do that on the air. You know, you got to have a jet car to get excited. Plus the Miami Hollywood Speedway Classic Retro shirt, a track long since gone. But we've got the starting line Christmas tree, back there. And all of our normal WFO gear is in the store. I'll put that up in the chat section before it's all over. But all right, guys, let's take us in a direction. Let's see where we're going. Okay. All right. No, I wanted to mention this. Ricky was correct. If I was Ricky, I would believe Ricky was correct. If I wasn't consulted until the decision was already made, and then they said, no, you got to go along with us, I can see being a little stubborn in that moment. I can see that. I think everybody learned a lesson. And hopefully in the future, we can work it out better and not make a change that rapidly. But I also understand the guy from D-Wagon was just a jazzed up sponsor who wanted to do something special. And so let's just move forward with it. Let's move forward with everybody having understanding that nobody meant to be a jerk. It just got sideways. That's what that comment is for, right? Things got sideways. Scott says this has been a breakout season for NHRA post-COVID. The hype for Indy is the best I've ever seen in all my years. Thank you both. Scott, you're relatively new to WFO, I think, and that's part of it. We are very intense about our drag racing here on this show. And that's why hopefully everyone will subscribe and click the bell on YouTube. But anyone who suggests that Indy has lost its luster has lost their appreciation for drag racing. That's it. And I don't want to get into the whole, aging process, but the first and second and 10th time you see something, it's going to be different than the 20th or 30th time you see something, right? This race has been going on 68 U.S. Nationals, and some were in Great Bend and Detroit and Oklahoma City and Kansas City. It's always the big go. There's going to be an ebb and a flow on the excitement of people. But after the pandemic, to be able to go out there with no restrictions, no pandemic, we're so beyond the pandemic, so much has changed from 2020 till now. Like you go back to 2020 and what we had to do to where we are now and think about how much things have gotten so much better for normal life. The complaints that people have are all like normal life complaints for the most part. That's progress. That's progress. And we're going to go celebrate it. Go Jeff Turk, talking Factory Showdown, Constant Aviation Factory Showdown. Yeah, Turk, I've been following him on social. He's great on social. The big go is definitely back, no doubt. Why didn't NHRA get music artists that are actually popular today? I don't know, Drag Racing Central. I think that they are amongst certain people. I'm not a country music fan. And so that's my, I don't hate country music at all, but it's just not my bag. And so I don't know. I think that those are popular country music bands. I'm more into, I would go rock. I would go classic rock. I would go into heavier stuff. I think you got to mix it up, but whatever. Aren't we like nitpicking the deal? Right? They've got concerts out there. They've got music. It's going to be like the Stampede of Speed. Everyone's going to go nuts out there. Jeff Gordon is in Indy this weekend to drive a Porsche at the Brickyard, and I'm pretty sure that he will be at the Nationals too. Well, let's not, chase him away. But if Jeff was out there, I invite everyone to come out and experience the U.S. Nationals. Nobody thinks we're better than anybody. Like drag racers don't think we're better than anybody. Okay, we understand that in the world of motorsports, drag racing is misunderstood because we don't turn. That's it. That's what's going on. Drag racing is slightly disrespected because we don't turn. And people that turn don't understand pure acceleration. Pure acceleration is something different. It's very fun. It's a difficult deal. You have to get the car to accelerate. But I've talked to Jeff Gordon many times, and I think that he would love what's going on out there. And that's where, I had a brief conversation with Tony Stewart, right, in the winner's circle at the Mile High Nationals. And he told me, I just volunteered it, the questions people ask him about why drag racing, like why drag race? Like, what are you doing, man? What's up with that? And his explanation of it is just great. And so that's Tony Stewart's deal, man. Tony Stewart is the guy who's got to convince these other motorsports people that love motorsport that drag racing is viable. Come get in, man. Come hire some guys, put out a car. It's affordable. An add-on to your other corporate sponsorships. It makes sense. And let's expand the field to 22 cars on a regular basis. So 24 at the big go is not a big deal. Let's get more cars out there. Let's employ more guys. Let's get more crew members out there. A couple of guys like, Jeff Gordon, if he got interested in this deal, man, that would be something special. And NHRA needs to do trading cards. Has there ever been talk of it? In fact, I got 2 packs of NHRA Finish Line trading cards right now. Finish Line, courtesy of KI from CIP1, California Import Parts, for all you Volkswagen people out there. You should definitely be using him. He's a banner ad sponsor for WFO for 2 years, CIP1. He gave me these 2 packs from 1993. Is now the time to open them? Should I open one of these packs? No, I don't think now's the time. 25 photo cards and stat cards. Should NHRA bring back trading cards? That is a good question. I'm going to ponder it. Believe it or not, trading cards are more popular now. They're back again, like baseball cards. I thought that they were dead, right? The kids don't want baseball cards. They want NFT and non-fungible tokens. Except the problem with the NFT is you can't look at them, and nobody wants to look at your stupid NFT. Sorry. I just don't think, I don't know. I think people are rejecting a little digital stuff now. I think people want something that they can touch. You know what? I support it, Mike. Let's bring it back to trading cards. Go Jason. Wish I was there. Awesome show, guys. AJ, great show today. You always say that, AJ. AJ's busy playing the new NHRA game. Oh, there's a piece of thing. Dude, nobody crap on the game just yet. Because it's updatable. They can update things. So what I was told is to just compile a list of everything that people think needs to be improved with the game. Like, I haven't played it yet. I haven't actually seen the game other than the clips that we play. But instead of just being totally negative and attacking something that's not exactly as you wish it would be, what are the things that need to be improved? Somebody told me that you stage with the gas instead of the brake. Like, that's a drag racer thing, right? Like, if you haven't drag raced, you wouldn't know that staging happens with the brake pedal. Like, you're a gamer and you're accelerating into the beams. That's not how it works. You're idling forward, brake, hold brake, gas. That's gameplay. People are telling me that that's what's going on. Okay, we're going to write that down. We're going to put it on a big list. I have already been told that the people that are making the game, which is Jeffrey from NHRA, is like, give me the list, baby. Give me the list. So don't freak out about anything just yet. The people that are running the show right now are down to do some stuff. Let's see. Great show today. I hope I didn't open a can of worms on that. Hey, Joe, did they save the West Palm Beach track? The answer is no. That's pretty much dead. We did stop the sale. We fought and we won to stop the sale, and the company pulled out, and now it is for sale again to a new company that's going to do the same thing. And the owners are going to make, millions more because the real estate is worth that much more now than it was. So did we do something good for them? Did we do something bad for them? I don't know. But what they did say was it's never going to be a track again. So give up. And if, you own something, you can do whatever you want with it. Like, I've got my car. If I want to go smash it with a hammer, I'm allowed to do that. And all the people that think it's pretty and appreciate it, they can petition me and write me a letter. Don't smash your car with a hammer, Joe. But it's still my car. And in the end, that's what happened. It's very sad. Let's hope that Atlantic Farms Motorsports Park, 900 acres, slightly north of West Palm Beach, slightly south of Orlando, they're going to build a track. It's going to be so great. Let's hope that they've totally gone into, you don't hear anything from them now. Let's hope that turns out to be real. Patreons, what's up? He's shouting out to the Patreon. They'll win the best package. Who cares? I don't know, man. Best package that's a bet. Any side bet is care worthy. Who do you think might be the surprise qualifier in Top Fuel? Says the Monday morning race. Well, I think that Will Smith that we just talked about with Larry Dixon, that would be a surprise. And that's no disrespect to Larry Dixon, but that's a car that's been, when was the last time they ran it or did anything with it? So if Will Smith were to be able to go out there and jump into the 16-car field, I'm looking at, here's the entry list from the bottom to the top. Scott Farley, Mike Salinas, Scott Palmer, Doug Foley, Leah Pruitt, Cam Ferret. Krista Baldwin, I think, can get in after what we saw her run last week with Scott Graham. I think Krista Baldwin can get in. Spencer Massey and Dakin's car. I think they're in. Kyle Wurtzel, Austin Prock, Tony Schumacher, Lex June. Lex could maybe get in. You got to go to 7. You got to go 70s, I think, to get into this deal now. I don't know, man. I don't know the answer. Trip Tatum is in. Billy's going to be in. Antron's going to be in. Langdon's going to be in. Like, there's so many racers that have to be in. Alex Laughlin back from No Prep Kings. It's just a random guess, Monday Morning Racer. There's 24 cars going for 16 spots with 5 qualifying sessions. I think some of those teams I don't know how to do it. I'm not a crew chief. My logic was going to say, you go for it on the Friday night session when the weather is the best. But isn't that just a guess? Then if you spin the tires, you don't have data. I don't know. It's tough. Nikki, there's a lot going on when cars are not on the track this weekend. Cruise has an open house on Thursday. DSR Cars and Coffee Saturday morning. Oh, that's nice. The whole city should be abuzz. Everybody should have their NHRA flags out, and the way IndyCar does the Indy 500, NHRA should do the U.S. Nationals. Okay, they got more budget than we do, Salinas and John Force. But the fans can take it upon themselves to be as excited as they want to be. I'm going to look you up this weekend and get a fist bump, maybe a picture. That sounds good. Erica, Matt. Salinas, Force, Erica, Matt. Smith, obviously. Reiki Smith. I can machine. Well, good. Go to Sam Tech. WFO, who y'all got? Okay. Troy is out there. Who y'all got? You want to do predictions? Put your predictions into the comments section. Rapid fire. But we got, 1 minute to do it. Jackson, Johnson, Ashley, Caps, Anderson. All right. I like how he goes ProMod first. Thank you, Bill. I saw 950 entries. I heard it was 937, but hey, Troy, I'm thinking TSR and JFR are going to have a big go weekend. That would be interesting. I'd love to see my man 16-time get another one. It's going to be so tough. But the guy has won 5, and he rises to the occasion. And we talked to John, and he says he talked to Austin Coyle. Did you see the John Force interview, everybody? You got to go check out the John Force interview. He talked to Austin Coyle, and he says you're going to see a different John Force this weekend. I wonder what that means. I think it means quiet. I think it means focused. Hey, Joe, I bought the NHRA Speed for All video game, and I really like it. It's fun. Way to go, Blake. Exactly. The people that are annoyed about the game are people who were looking for a racing simulator. They were looking for a Gran Turismo of drag racing, right? Which that's like $1 billion game. People who are fans who want to jump in Justin Ashley's car and go for a drive, that's a different thing. And so my little nephew is 11. He loves it. He doesn't know that you're supposed to stage with the brake and not the gas and all of these things. The fact is, we got a game out there on the shelves. With this many entries, betting the field is the safest bet. Yeah. Hey, Joe, I got here a little late. How do you like the new video game? The answer is I haven't played it yet. I did get it from my little nephew, and he's got it on his PlayStation 5. And when I get over there, I will play it. But my opinion is this. This was a long-term project that they worked and they accomplished. Everybody said we needed a game, and now we've got a game. The people who are negative on the game wanted a racing simulation. They wanted a drag racing sim, which is very different than a game. They're compiling all the information, and they're taking that information, and they can make updates on the fly to this game. There's a new update coming, and then there's another update coming. So everybody that thinks the game, like, the graphics, everybody's saying the graphics are great. Graphics are great. What needs to be done to the game, guys? Make a list. Email me, joe@wforadio.com. I know the people that I can hand the list to. And I was even told to hand them a list. All right, what is it? what's your beef? And I gave you one list. Like I asked somebody, what's your beef? And they said, staging with the gas is not drag racing accurate. That you got to, the car idles forward and you stage with the brake. And that made a lot of sense to me. And then somebody else said, when you red light or you don't red light. Like a 001 red and a 100 red and a 200 red and a 500 red are all the same thing. Okay, put it on the list. But you can't improve something without having something. And so with the game, it is what it is. And it's going to take shape and it's going to advance. I'll give you an example, okay? Next year, if there's a new team that comes into the sport, and this is why everybody goes back to that PlayStation 2 game, and they had a game, and that was it. Somebody that's not in the game, they decide, man, we want to be in the game. Now, thanks to the way gaming is, they can add them. They can add things. They can add tracks. There are expansion packs. People are angry. There's no Pro Stock motorcycle. Oh, okay. Yes, there's no Pro Stock motorcycle, right? There's a lot of things that could be there, but there's going to be an expansion pack. So, the typical reaction, over the top anxiety over everything. I don't know. I don't think it needs to be that way. But I'm telling you now what I have heard. And I was made to feel very happy about the future of the game. Let's, just like anything else, let's work on it for a year and see where the game is. Drag racers aren't better than other racers, just faster. That's true. We are the fastest people that race side by side. The land speed guys, they're faster, right? But they take forever to get there. Not forever. They take a fair amount of time and they go one at a time. So are they racing? Speed trials. As far as drag racing, they're the fastest racers. Vegas odds are crazy for this weekend in picks. I gotta have to check it out. I don't know. 68th Indy. Hall & Oates are performing here Saturday. Wouldn't be surprised if two car guys show up in Indy. Man, get them out here. Get them. Daryl Hall and John Oates. They met in a elevator anyway. Casey Kasem taught me that. I heard it on America's Top 40. I have some of them. Let's see. Great show as usual. You guys rock. Get back to running the valves. Get this thing loaded and head that way. Yeah, we got anybody out there in the parking lot at Indy? Open them. Open the cards. Open them. Open them. I don't know. Opening the cards feels like an off-season thing when people least expect it. I love the cards. Best part was getting them all signed. I still have them. I could get these signed. I could get every one of these cards signed, maybe. Thank you for being the voice of reason about the game. I wish I knew who this was. Voice of reason. Okay, so there's a term that I have brought with me for a long time, and it's called the tide of ignorance. And whenever something happens, the first response, like the tide that comes in, is going to be full of emotion and not really loaded with a lot of information. So people got the game, and the people that were expecting a drag racing sim, they all went out there on the social and they puked out their negativity. The tide of ignorance rose. The tide rose. But now the tide of ignorance has receded. And it's an updatable game. They've got the infrastructure. They've got the relationship. There's 1,000 things that the people who designed the game, couldn't possibly. Oh my gosh, the front tires on Erica's car are wide. Oh, those aren't, skinny drag tires. That's a good point. All right. There's something that can be updated. And that's it. And that tide of ignorance thing that I just told you guys about, right? Because I pay attention to a lot of other stuff, not just drag racing. It happens everywhere. The initial first 72-hour response to anything that happens is going to be loaded with people just puking out emotion and less information. So watch out for it. In all honesty, the game is just too easy, plus no multiplayer kind of ruins the experience. Okay, so I am under the impression that there is multiplayer, so I don't know about that. And someone is telling me it's too easy. I've heard from various people that it's too hard. So, isn't that Goldilocks? Too easy, too hard? I don't know. I have to play it. Again, I'm not there yet. I got to waiting for me. Still Immokalee. Yeah, Immokalee is still going, Jim. Immokalee is still going. Ralph Hester and his son still got Immokalee going. Thank God for them. We need a track in South Florida. You know, there's only millions and millions of car culture people down here waiting for a track. And Homestead Miami Speedway is, we got street drags. Smash it with a freshly calibrated torque wrench from Torque Calibration Services. That's right, says Troy, who is doing a great job for the folks at Torque Calibration Services of Australia. Happy birthday to Terry McMillan. Happy birthday, Terry. U.S. Nationals winner, Terry McMillan. Thank you very much. The Will Smith story is a good one, regardless of how things play out. Solid runs, getting in the show would be icing on the cake. Beyond that would be remarkable. I agree, but you never know. Remember Kevin Kinsley a couple of years ago? Kevin Kinsley went, all the way and lost in the final round. One of my best drag racing moments was standing next to Kevin Kinsley on the top end. It was also an annoying moment because I was trying to signal them. I'm here with Kevin Kinsley, guys. I got this amazing interview, and someone's radio was down and they didn't hear me, and we didn't get the interview. But I did. I got to experience the energy. And, if you guys all don't get to experience the amazing stuff I get, too bad. Right? I could make all the effort in the world that I want if it doesn't work out. WFO, Steve Torrence, Matt Hagan, Erica Enders, Angel, Lyle. Boy, Lyle, that would be really crazy. That would be crazy for Lyle. Eric, McMillan, Tasca, Quadra, Stouffer. Why McMillan? I don't see Terry McMillan on the entry list. Yeah, yesterday, everybody was doing this to me, naming people that are not in the race from years gone by. Don the Snake Prudhomme, Steve Torrence, Josh Hart in the final. Ooh, that would be good. Hagan, Schumacher, Krawick, Erica, Eddie to win another one. Yeah, Eddie comes into the U.S. Nationals in a different mode. Dude is different at the U.S. Nationals. And I wouldn't be surprised at all. The game puts a great foundation. I just hope both parties are willing to keep pushing it forward. I can say there's no doubt that both parties that NHRA is willing to push it forward. I don't know the game, guys. I don't know him. Need a Jet Car expansion pack with Jet Car Joe calling the race. Fire! That would be something. Right? I would gladly sell them the rights to do that. Get your Jet Car Joe shirt in the WFO store. Yeah, I said I was going to put that link up, but I'm too busy hanging out with the callers, man. I'm hanging out with everybody. We're almost done. Complainers. Go take a look at the only drag racing video game I had in my gaming days, the early 80s, Activision's Dragster on the Atari VCS. Guess what, Brian? I got you beat. Activision's Dragster on Atari 2600. And I loved that game, man. I played Dragster over and over and over again. It's nonstop. And if the run was going south, reset, go to the drag, reset, Atari 2600. Man, and to get in the fives. And I remember I yelled at my dad. I was angry at him. I was a kid. And I wonder if my dad's watching. He remembers this, playing Dragster, and I couldn't get it. Like the Dragster, you had to be push the button with the old school Atari joystick, which I have an Atari 2600 in the other room, by the way, that I'm restoring. Does anybody know about that? But you held the thing and you had to lift and shift and beep, 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 doing that. And you just shifting and the wheel would pick up and you'd run in the fives. My dad could do it and I couldn't do it. And I got mad. What are you doing? Patience, grasshopper. Patience. Atari 2600 represent. What top fuel team will not make the show? 8 of them. Which top fuel team will not make the show? I'm not going there, man. That's for you to say. I'm not going there because they'll beat me up in the pits. AJ is just having a great time with the game, but he does have a list. Make a list. What needs to be better? Krista will be the surprise qualifier. I just don't think it will be a surprise. I think Krista Baldwin, someone needs to back up a dump truck to her and give her the money. Just give her the money. Some of you big corporate executive types that are watching WFO, just back up the Brinks truck to Krista Baldwin and give her the money and let the girl go do her thing. And I think in a few years, you'll be like, wow, that was the best decision I ever made. Everybody's got to show all these analytics and numbers and this person, how many clicks and all that nonsense. I'm sorry. Sometimes it's about emotion. It's not about the numbers. It's about making a gut decision that is the right decision. You go find Krista Baldwin and back up the Brinks truck and give her the money that she can get out there on a regular basis and watch this thing. Watch what happens. That's what I say. People complaining about video games. When I was a kid, we had a handheld called Redline. No screen. We ate it up. No complaints from us. Exactly. Way to go, Billy. Why aren't the real pro mod drivers in the game? Well, because it's there's an endless supply of drag racing drivers and names. Endless. That could all be in the game at some point, eventually at some point, right? This is the NHRA Speed for All Camping World Series game, I believe. But as time goes by, I would imagine that they're going to do expansion packs and let people be involved. And now that they've got a system and they're going to refine the system and then they're going to add drivers and they're going to add graphics. And I would imagine that you're going to at some point be able to spend like, X dollars, 6 or 10 or 9 or whatever it is. Don't quote me on that. It doesn't matter. What matters is, and get the Pro Mod expansion pack. And now you're running Pro Mod and you're Stevie Fast or you're Lyle Barnett and you're talking trash about Al Belushi. Like that comes after you set the framework up. Like a base on Mars doesn't have a roller coaster because you first need to go to Mars and then you learn how to be there and then you're there and then you set up a base and then you eventually get the roller coaster. And it doesn't happen right away. Some might say that NHRA could have been more aggressive with this game a couple of years ago. And yes, there is an argument to be made about that. But you know what? Now that everybody has got connected gaming systems, now is the right time. You got to have it now. Everyone's got connected gaming systems, and so they're doing it. John Force, brute force. That was a great day. Yeah, it was. Smoke in the booth, intoxicating. Probably talking about Kevin Kinsley. Smoke in the booth, intoxicating. I don't know about the word intoxicating, Pete. I don't know, man. I've seen Tony talk. Intoxicating is not the word I get. AJ says that the AI should have a level of difficulty. Okay. Right. Gamer talk. Clay Milliken, sorry. I like that, Joe. The tide of ignorance. This is mine, by the way. You guys have to quote me when you use that. That is copyrighted, registered to WFO Joe. The Tide of Ignorance is going to be the title of one of the books that I eventually write. I shared it with you because it was important for you to know. The tide of ignorance is a real thing, and it doesn't only happen in drag racing about games. It happens all the time when something happens. September 11th, oh my gosh, what was going on? They were all out there, man. The people that react first and find out the actual information second. They're in everything. They're everywhere. You have to be aware of them. The tide of ignorance moment. When something goes bad, be cautious. Because the information that you're finding out is not the right information, almost assuredly. And everybody runs out there because they want to be in there and the tide rises. But then it will recede. And this is why people subscribe to WFO, because every once in a while there's a nugget of information. Don't steal it. Just give me credit. I haven't got the game. I have to see. I need to stream it. I don't own a game console. Yeah, I don't own a game console either. That's why I go to the little nephew's house. Justin Ashley, Matt Hagan, Stevie Fast, Dallas Glenn, Steve Johnson. Wow, Steve Johnson winning his third. Wow. Oh, wow, that would be cool. Dallas Glenn, that would be very popular. Stevie Fast, very popular. Very interesting. All very popular. Interviews with some jet car people on the show. Jaron Mott, Tony Franco. Yeah, you know what? I haven't been embraced by the jet car people. I don't know if they actually like my thing. I don't know if they like my call. Jaron Mott, I spoke to at PRI. We just need, we need certainty. I don't even know when there's going to be jet cars at a race, typically. I would love to do more with the jet car people. But there's a broken link in the chain, right? As to like when we're going to have jets and who the jets are going to be and all of that. I had Kenner Redline handheld game. Oh, this guy had it too. The trick in Redline was to start in super stock and quick switch to top fuel so you could turn the RPM quick and look at you, cheater, cheat codes. What's up, Joe? Just tuned in. See you this week. Oh, Jaron, you missed it, Jaron. You missed it, Jaron. We were talking all about you, Jaron, and what you have to do in the you and Galvin deal. But now the show's over, Jaron, and so you're gone, Jaron. Sorry. You got to be on time. That's it. Can't sit here all day because I got to go to the Red Hot Chili Peppers tonight. How about that for a little inside info? Kristen needs In-N-Out as a sponsor. It would be a perfect fit, in my opinion. I don't know. In-N-Out's a regional company. They have done a lot of great things in drag racing over the years, and they certainly are drag racers themselves and exemplify the hot rod culture from which drag racing was born. And I love In-N-Out, and I wish it was true. But all the East Coast and middle of the country type stuff we do, there's no benefit in it for them. They're in Texas and they're on the West Coast because they've got a policy that they don't have a store wherever they can't, they have to freeze their meat, right? They've got to have it fresh. That's what makes In-N-Out In-N-Out. And I love In-N-Out. Secret menu, animal style, all of it. I love In-N-Out. It would be great. Maybe for the West Coast races, but Kristen needs a sponsor that can get her everywhere so she can be out there every week. iRacing has spoiled all of us. Level of accuracy and sophistication the NHRA game has to be. But not really, Mark, because iRacing is a racing simulator. It's not a game. That's the thing. It's not a game. It's a sim. iRacing goes levels beyond Gran Turismo and Forza. And Gran Turismo for PlayStation is a Sony game. That's hundreds of millions of dollars. Like that game, I don't know how much it is. It's definitely a lot of money. And it's over, I think it's over $100 million goes into those games. Those are driving sims. NHRA's is a game. Hundreds of millions of dollars going into an NHRA game is not what's going to happen. Maybe iRacing will add NHRA drag racing at some point. But to participate in iRacing at all, you make the hurdle to entry higher than most people are willing to go. Like AJ out there, like my little nephew out there. They're little boys, man. They're not iRacing. They don't have an iRacing rig that costs $1,000 to build. You want to be competitive on iRacing, you need to have good stuff. And it becomes like having a race car. There are people out there who've got $5,000 iRacing rigs, and they're in leagues. It's a competitive driving simulation. It's not a game. Don't diminish iRacing by calling it a game. iRacing is a next level miracle thing. I would love for there to be Super Street iRacing, man. I wouldn't have to go through all this engine stuff. Stephen Glenn. How about an 80s version Eddie Hill? Right. Put it on the list. Throwback paint schemes. Eddie Hill. Yes. Love that one. LD, the people's champion. I like it. Tide of ignorance. Patience grasshopper. It's what I'm here for. Joe quotes. Well, the patience grasshopper is not mine. I think a great drag racing, iRacing type game would feature late 60s top fuel, top gas, funny car. Oh, yeah, man. Let's go modified eliminator. You know, you got to rev it up, 9,000, swap feet, shift gears. Let's do it. Sign on. Who's going to pay for it? The question that always gets asked. I got to race Larry Sr. at Sonoma back in the 90s. I framed the time slip. That's pretty amazing. Tide of ignorance. I'm ordering a vest for my cubicle. I went red. I love In-N-Out double with cheese, fries, animal style. Of course, for the In-N-Outers out there. And that's it. All right, hopefully this got you to Indy, or if you're in the parking lot or you're having a little fun and just want to have fun. Speaking of fun, I'm going to see the Red Hot Chili Peppers tonight. What I'm going to do right now, 2:48 p.m. Eastern Time, is we went for an hour and 48 minutes. Thanks to Matt Hartford, and thanks to Blake Alexander and Larry Dixon and Alan Reinhart and everybody who supported the show. Here's the deal, guys. This is a great week for potential growth for WFO. If you are watching the final minute of the show, you must like the show and appreciate what we're trying to do. So here's the deal. I'm going to push out all of the shows we've done in the past 8 days with all of our great guests. Leah Pruitt, Ricky Smith, John Force, Josh Hart, Bob Tasca, Steve Torrence, Reinhart, all of that stuff is going to go out there on the social Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. I'm going to push it out there. Help us bring on new listeners by telling them you like the shows and that it's tolerable. Can you tolerate this? I think you can. Because we've got the countdown coming up. And I believe that our coverage of the NHRA countdown is as good as it gets. For live stream video, we've been doing it for over 10 years, not the live stream, but the countdown coverage. It gets only better and more intense. Who's going to lead going in to the countdowns? Who will hold the lead? Is everyone going to freak out if Capco wins a couple of races? Capco wins Indy, Capco wins the Grove. Uh-oh. Panic time. Hit the like button, folks. Under the bridge. All right, guys. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Come out to Indy. I'll be there. See you there. WFO.